Welcome to Ball and Chain Podcast. This is episode 168. We're back again for like the 30th time. No, I'm Moxborn again. I have with me, it's my angel, as always.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Tired.
Tired?
We had a busy day.
We did have a busy day. One thing's for sure is our busy day can be accounted to Eli. He pretty much took up the entire day. But we had a good one.
Well, we made the decision to do Choo Choo Junction was kind of his idea.
Choo Choo Junction. That's Entertainment Junction for those of you that don't speak Eli.
Yes.
It's a local... No, it's a local, like Dayton area, greater Dayton area. Miniature train
Display
extravaganza. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we had a good time today. So we're back. Took a little bit of a hiatus. The last episode was July 16th, so it's been a hot minute.
Oh, wow.
No, I mean, that was around the time that my job was changing around a little bit. Your job was changing around a little bit. We really didn't have a set schedule. Well, I mean, we did have a set schedule as far as work goes, but we really didn't have a set, like, okay, this is when we're going to start podcasting in. There was a lot of things going on around July and August that kind of prohibited us from podcasting. We just kind of went on a hiatus to get things together, and I think Mondays are going to be our day of reckoning when it comes to the podcast.
It's my only day off.
It's your only day off. That sucks, but it'll be fun. I think it'll work. We're probably going to be starting around 10 o'clock. Today we got started a little late, mainly because we just weren't used to the setup, I guess. I don't know. We had some things change around. As you can tell, we're a lot closer to the screen, which I'm not liking one bit. I don't like that half my face is cut off.
Well, I've kind of taken over a good portion of your desk.
Well, you've taken over a good portion of the desk. Amen to that. But and you have your own desk upstairs now.
I need to get ink for that printer, which is why I'm downstairs right now.
No, I got a little bit of change around to do. I got to move your mic forward and all that stuff. You can see the back of the computer monitor, which is not cool. So this is going to be a growing episode. So we'll get back in the swing, growing pains type of thing. My headset's not working. I can't hear myself. I know it's recording, but I know, whatever. Fuck it. Whatever. Anyway, so we're here to talk about some games, movies, entertainment, pretty much anything that comes to mind. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we've been up to for the past, I don't know.
Almost 6 months.
Almost 6 months. What, you want to go first? What have you been up to?
Well, like you said, we had job changes. So... we probably did discuss this back in July, because I believe my first week was the week before, or the week of 4th of July. But I'm still currently now working from home, evenings and weekends. So same company, just different position that's allowing me to stay home and use less daycare time for Eli.
Right. You most recently purchased a camera, or we purchased a camera.
I thought you were going to say puppy, which is true.
Oh, we purchased a puppy. Stupid dog. Anyway, let's talk about the camera. So, and what that's entailing.
Yeah, I get lots of pictures done of Eli because I'm kind of picture obsessed, and the result of that was me spending lots of money on pictures that I was kind of only somewhat happy with. And they all kind of started looking the same, and I started realizing that basically the entire time was me chasing Eli around a portrait studio because he was not wanting to sit in front of a camera. So I thought, why couldn't I go ahead and just get a camera and take my own pictures?
Right.
So kind of started, it's not officially a company. I don't have it registered with the state or anything like that yet, but have started taking some pictures for friends and family, and it's going okay. I'm learning that it's basically my time of learning and exposure, kind of, is what I'm trying to do right now. So it's fun.
Cool. I have no idea how to use a damn camera. I don't. I get frustrated. There's so many different options. And it's overwhelming to the point where I forget that there's an automatic mode, and I'm just like, I don't know, pushing buttons, turning dials.
See, I think it's so easy. Like it didn't take me much to pick it up. Like a day of playing with it, and I was good.
Right. Well, anyway, I mean, you get really nice pictures out of it. If you haven't seen her page, what is it, Amanda D Photography on Facebook?
Yes, there's actually a couple Amanda D photographies on Facebook.
The one in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah. So.
You do really nice work. Good Photoshop work. Let's talk about that for a minute. That's pretty sweet. The new Photoshop, like the new Creative
Creative
Suite.
Cloud.
Yeah, Creative Cloud. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So.
Let's, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so Adobe has basically taken all of their products and don't actually publish them.
To a disk.
Right. So everything is now downloadable and you pay a monthly fee, which is good and bad. If we had a copy of CS3 through 6, we could have got Photoshop and Lightroom for $9.99 a month for the first year, which is not a bad deal. However, we did not have those programs, so one program alone, it can be any of their programs, but for my purposes, I am getting Photoshop, is, I think, was it $10 a month, $20 a month?
Yeah, I think it's $19.95 a month.
Yeah. And the dogs are opening the gate. Anyway, the nice thing about it is it's always, they're upgrading it. So you're not purchasing a like $1,000 program and then it goes bad a couple years later, with an upgrade. So yes, I'm paying a monthly fee, but I know my version is always going to be the most up-to-date version of Photoshop.
Right. So every year, and rather than paying for the new CS3, CS4, CS5 Creative Suite, you're getting the most up-to-date version of Photoshop. I don't know. I mean, it's good and bad. The nice thing is that it works for two computers. Mm-hmm. So your license will work on my computer. However, I doubt my computer is capable of running it. I've got an older version of Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign on my computer. But it's nice to know that once I get a new computer, I can load your version up. We can run them at the same time, stuff like that. There's the DRM, is somewhat lenient. That's the one thing whenever you're purchasing virtual goods that you're like, am I going to be able to use this when I want to use it? If I don't, the thing is, once you unsubscribe to this cloud, then you lose the capability. I mean, you can still open up PDFs and JPEGs and stuff like that, but you can't edit any of that stuff in Photoshop anymore. So that's the downgrade. But we will always have this copy and stuff like that, and
one of the other features, I guess, I haven't actually used this yet, is you get so much like gigabytes of cloud storage as well, and there's supposed to be like ways that you can kind of network with other people and see their work that has been posted to the cloud and kind of do like different things with that. I haven't really looked into that just yet, but hope to kind of check that out a little bit more in the future.
Cool. All right, rock on. As for me, not really a new job, new hours, which has kind of made it working scheduled 4 days a week, but working 5 10-hour shifts, which generally turn into 11-hour shifts sometimes. And then again, over the weekends I get to leave early or whatever, whenever that happens. But anyway, new hours, so that's what kind of pushed me to like, okay, hey, everything's kind of settling down now. It's being, for the past month, it's been pretty consistent as far as time worked or whatever, and our schedules go. So let's, I want to get back into podcasting, so that's why we're back now. Throughout July, I think July, we did some, towards the end of July and into August, we did some work on the basement. We got the final bits of the electricity run for the living room, which is great. We've got electricity run over here in the office. However, you notice how it's really dark. There's no light in here. The only thing we've got is a desk lamp. But we just have to get the fixtures put in and then sealing up, and we're good to go. So I would say we're about 85, 86% of the way done. Ceiling is almost done, and then we got some minor touches, molding and some sanding work to do. But that's all.
Hopefully, maybe early this spring we can finish it.
Right, clean out the basement, finish it, and I would like to get the carpet actually tacked down. That would be nice. I don't know if that's ever going to happen or not. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, considering we've already found our next house that we want to buy, we got to get this one
Right,
done.
exactly. We gotta get this house done and sold. So, and I wrote down just enjoying life, just kind of relaxing, trying to get caught up on some gaming, try and get some, Eli's going through this crazy stage where he's mimicking everything. So, we have to be careful what we're saying. B,
He's been using some choice language.
all right, he's been using some choice language, which you just gotta watch what you say. So, but I mean, it's funny because like today, he we we went to see the Clifton Mill lights or whatever, and it's this huge like massive light show for during the holidays. And they play music and they have the lights all going at the same time or whatever. And he starts like, rocking his head or whatever. And I'm like, so then I do like the devil horns thing. And sure enough, he's sitting at the dinner table trying to put his middle finger and his ring finger down to his thumb and put his pointer finger and his baby finger up, or his pinky, whatever you want to call it. And then he finally gets it. And we're just sitting watching him do it. And he's staring so hard and just
Trying to push his fingers down.
Trying to push his fingers down. You can see the concentration in his face, and we're like, "What are you doing?"
It takes a lot of fine motor.
And then he does it, and he starts putting it in the air and just doing a head bang. And I'm like, "Oh God!" Like that is awesome, but you can't do that at school.
Well, yeah, we were at the dinner, and he was showing the waitress the video of the music while he was doing it too.
Right.
It was kind of hilarious.
So then we quickly turned the devil horns into reindeer horns, which is the peace sign. Reindeer horns. That's the peaceful kindergarten version. So anyway, so we're back. We're ready to talk about some games. So let's I guess just roll into it. We've been gone for a solid 5 months. So what have you been playing? What have you been watching?
I don't play much games anymore aside from Burnout, because that's what Eli wants to play, and abcmouse.com.
Okay. Well,
and all the games on nickjr.com.
Okay, well, let's, we can skip over that stuff, but like Burnout Paradise, let's talk about Burnout Paradise. This is a game that's been out for God knows how long. I've been starting to play it again. I'm actually
But it's because of Eli.
But it's because of Eli. He loves that game so much, but
he likes race cars.
He started out, just being able to pull the trigger and he'll slam into a wall and just be stuck, and then he'll get bored and walk away. Now he's actually driving. He's actually putting the car in reverse when he gets stuck, backing up, turning the wheel, going forward, or moving the joystick. He doesn't use the wheel. He uses the boost. He doesn't use the power brake so much. He doesn't know what that does, but he uses brakes and stuff like that.
But for being 3, he does pretty good.
But for being 3, he's outstanding. He drives down the road. It's burnout, so you can't really stay on the road, or on your side of the road. But anyway, he doesn't do any of the events. He just learned how to do the showcase mode, which is he pushed the two
Showtime.
The Showtime mode. He pushed the 2 bumpers down, so he's really getting into that. And the funny thing is, like when we do that, he's like, "Oh, my turn. My turn. Oh, she did that thing. My turn. My turn." Mm-hmm. So, you started playing it, and then we both have been playing quite a bit of it. And you showed me something that I never knew. So like I just learned this today, a couple days ago, is when you have a car, and there's a icon on your screen, like a star on your screen of one of the
on the map,
one of the locations or whatever of the events the events. That's that car specific one. Here, what I was doing was driving around trying to find it, and then I'm like, well, screw this. So then basically what I did was I drove up to one, and I was like, okay, I don't know if I have this car, so I write down the name of the car, drive back to, and you're like, oh, I don't have that car, damn it. So I pretty much burnt through, no pun intended, all of my cars, and I've got I think 68 of the 75 cars unlocked. 75 being there's one original car and then there's a skin for that car. Mm-hmm. We purchased the DeLorean, which is pretty.
Eli
likes that one. The flying car. Can I play the flying car? And you click the thumbstick and it lifts off the ground, and you hit the turbo and it shoots the flames out from underneath the tires, like it's going into from Back to the Future. It's a pretty. I mean, that game has aged very well. I mean, it looks really good. I mean, the crashes are kind of eh. I mean, when your car crinkles up or whatever, it looks okay. But I mean, like, just, you know, the sheer graphics are gorgeous. Granted, there aren't any people walking around, and you're driving through a city that's probably got about, a population of 100, and you only see like 5 or 6 of them at one time. But still looks really good. Lots of gameplay, that's for sure. So I've been working on getting that 100%ed, although I learned yesterday that it's impossible now because the one website you have to go to back then to register your gamer tag or whatever is no longer available. So we will never get that gamer tag or that achievement, which sucks. But anyway, what else have you been playing? Or what else have you been watching? We went and saw a movie a couple nights ago.
Yeah. Sorry, we went and saw Catching Fire.
So what'd you think?
It was awesome.
It was awesome. It was much better than the first one. First one was tolerable. This one was actually a really good story.
I like the first one. I mean, the thing is, it's the first one. It's got to introduce the concept and the characters, and
this one took it from like 6, 7, turns it to 11. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, that's the nature of the stories too, and it is a different director this time. Kept it really true to the book. It's gotten great reviews. If you're at all squeamish, it's not gory, but mentally it's intense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's one of the, I posted on Facebook. It's one of the most violent movies I've seen in a long time, and it's a PG-13 movie. I mean, you see plenty of people get the crap beat out of them with billy clubs or nightsticks, and dude gets whipped in the middle of. I mean, one of the gorier parts is when the guy was getting whipped in the square, town square. Mm-hmm. But it was. I think the one part that actually tripped me up is when they had like right before. I can never pronounce her name. Katniss. I always want to say Candace. Katniss gets in her tube to go up to the actual games.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Cinna gets, and if you've read the books, it happened. I mean, this is a pretty cut and paste when it comes from the book to the actual movie. They pretty much not really word for word, but they didn't steer very far away from it, unlike some other movies.
Mortal Instruments.
Mortal retardedness is more like it. Anyway, when she goes up in the tube, she starts to go up, and Cinna gets the crap beat out of him, like right there, and it's brutal. I mean, like it completely drowns out the music, like the background music completely drowns out, and you hear Katniss start screaming, and he's just taking beating after beating after beating. Then they carry him off by his shoulders, and he's doesn't look like he's dead, but in the book he's definitely dead. Yeah, that was that at that point I was like, wow, this is kind of super serial. So the games was actually kind of interesting this time around. The graphics, like the 3D animations, was a lot. The monkeys were more terrifying than damn dogs. Yeah. You didn't even see much of the dogs. You just saw the jungle racing fast and a black image of a 4-legged creature.
What else?
So it was good.
I've read a lot of books.
You did. You read a couple series, actually.
Yeah. The Maze Runner series.
The Maze Runner series.
Was really good. That's coming out into a movie.
What was the one that I got? What was the one?
That was one that you got me for my birthday. The Divergent series, that trilogy just recently ended.
Which you were unhappy with.
I've hated the ending of that. Oh, awful.
Which they're making a movie out of.
They're making a movie out of the first one.
Was it the second movie that you were, or the second
book?
The
third.
The third book that you were upset with.
Yeah.
So that'll be what, movie 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Depending on how they split them up.
Yeah. Read the Mortal Instruments series. That movie sucked.
Yeah,
but the book series is good. There's still one more book that they're making. Unwind. I read the third one of that one just came out.
There's a book up there right now beside the beds, like The Host or something like that.
I haven't read that one yet.
It looks good. The cover looks good. I always judge a book by the cover, and the artwork on the cover is amazing. I'm like, man, I really want to read that book, but I hate reading books.
I've read the first chapter like 3 times because I can never get past it. It's Stephanie Meyer.
Is that bad?
Just
for
never
writers.
got that interesting. It's Stephanie Meyer, the author of Twilight.
Oh.
She actually wrote this book before Twilight.
Oh.
And it did get made into a movie recently.
Host. It sounds. Well, there's a old movie called The Host, I think.
Yeah, there's a movie now. Oh, let's see. There's a bunch of them.
Okay. As well, for me, what I've been playing, you can actually get that switched over. There we go. What I've been playing, we've been playing a lot of Magic lately. That's kind of been we've kind of fallen off the video game wagon a little bit, and just because there wasn't a lot to play. And with Eli, it's really difficult to play
Anything that has...
like violence or anything
Not
like
that we
that.
play Magic while Eli's awake, either.
Right, exactly. It's just, rather than turning on the Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, like, hey, let's play 2 games of Magic and go to bed or whatever. So, been playing a lot of Magic. We actually hosted a tournament 2 weekends or 3 weekends, I don't know, a couple weekends ago. Our first draft for Theros turned out really good. It was a lot of fun. I did horrible.
I did really well.
Yeah, you did. You went, what, 2-3
and 1.
3-1? Oh, yeah.
My problem is that Nick beat me.
Yeah, you would have came in second if you would have beat Nick, which you beat him the first game.
Mm-hmm.
But your second and third, you fell short. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yep.
I did horrible. Like, I think I didn't... What do I want to say? I think I won at least one match out of every series I played, which isn't too bad. I don't know. Just wasn't really... I didn't... The deck I had built was a blue-red deck. Had some really nice control. But I just couldn't get enough defense in to stop my opponents from beating me down. Or Chris threw a couple Garys at me, and that was just bad. That card is way overpowered. Although it does cost 5, so it's I guess it can't be overpowered if it's that expensive, but it can get out of control pretty quick. Which it proved to be very useful in Commander with 4 people. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the 2 times I played it last night or the night before was I dealt 10 damage to each of you and then gained 30 life. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that sucked.
Let's see here. Playing GTA 5, that released since we've recorded the last podcast. The game is outstanding, worth the wait. Everyone's this game is the GTA 5. The GTA 5. Yeah, really. I sound like my parents. The Nintendo. Get off the Nintendo. What's the Nintendo game? What Nintendo game you looking for? No. GTA 5 is an outstanding game. When it first came out, the biggest hype or the biggest knock again, I guess, complaint was the Trevor character and how over the top he is and ridiculously violent and just vulgar language and all that stuff. But to me, that's kind of what GTA is. Like, there's a couple of different styles to play GTA, and they have these 3 characters that kind of are like the pinnacle of their audience. If you're the person that likes to stock up on ammo, hijack a helicopter, and go to the roof of a building and just start shooting rockets and throwing grenades off of it, Trevor is your character. Trevor is your story. If you're the conservative type, the psychotic, like, in your mind but very smooth, mellow, then the main character, and his name is escaping me
Michael?
right. Michael. Oh, thank you, Michael.
I've never played the game.
It's kind of the character to go with, and then the in between character is the one that you're the newer to the group or whatever. But the way they tell the story is amazing. Between the 3 characters, getting them together when you pull off heists that include all 3 of them, that's it's a lot of fun. Doing the prep work, it's amazing to actually pick out the guys that you want to work with. Mostly because you can kind of pick out okay, this guy's not going to take a very big cut of the money, but he's terrible at what he does. Do I risk losing the mission but getting more money? And the risk reward is kind of, a nice a nice payout. I always go for the people that take less cut. Like, I don't care about them. Like, I honestly, I think I don't need them, but they're there to kind of take, be a meat shield, I guess. Started playing Beyond Two Souls, actually borrowing it from a friend. I've only put in about 45 minutes to an hour of it.
I want to see more of it.
And yeah, it looks awesome. Like
I'd like you to go upstairs and play it.
I think I will go ahead and throw it in tonight and put an hour or two down. But
what was the zombie game you played too on the PlayStation?
Zombie game. Oh, Last of Us. We reviewed that last episode.
Oh,
that was that part of the last episode. Yeah,
okay.
that was.
Never
I
mind.
really enjoyed that game. Like, hands down, one of the best games of this year. Beyond Two Souls has that potential. Like, it's a lot of the same things that make me go nuts for PlayStation games. These exclusive PlayStation games are high polished,
They're
lots
different.
of fun, original ideas. That's kind of what they're
The LA Noir. No, that was
That
on
wa-
Xbox. What game am I thinking of?
Uncharted.
Well, Uncharted was one of them. I don't know.
I don't know what you're thinking of either.
That's okay.
I don't know what you're thinking of. Anyway, so yeah, Beyond Two Souls. Haven't got a lot into it, but like the idea, like I've just like figured out the powers or whatever. So like, my mind's going wild. Like, oh my god, what am I gonna be doing? With this, newfound powers, and do they get upgraded? I really don't know. I haven't really looked into this game at all. It's just one of those things where I knew it was popular and it's a well-polished game, and I had someone that already had it, so I borrowed it from them to actually give it a shot. I'm really enjoying it. So
Yeah, I think PlayStation does a good job. A lot of their games are really.
well, I don't know if I don't know if it was a first-party title.
Well,
Like,
neither
from the-
is. I don't know. I just like the games on the PlayStation.
Okay. Rock on. And then we played a little bit, like we've been playing like off and on with Black Ops 2 and Halo 4, and I'm really noticing that Halo 4 is very lacking in like potential. Like it's just really lacking. Like I don't know.
It's slow.
It's really slow. It feels like, and it's not necessarily like the character speed or whatever, but like the frame rate just
You
seems
feel
so
like you're
slow.
working, like you're in like walking through quicksand.
I don't have so much of a problem with the movement, but like but the screen, like when I shift my view over, it feels like I'm like going
Well, yeah,
and
that's
like
why
and I can't I feel like
shoot somebody fast enough.
Exactly. I feel like the enemies are moving too fast in my screen. I'm missing like frames or something like that, and that's all that is 30 frames a second versus Black Ops, which runs at 60 frames a second. So they get twice as many frames per second, obviously. It's a lot smoother.
I mean, I do much better playing Black Ops.
Well, and there's also assists in there that help with that, but overall the game just it just has not like Burnout just hasn't aged well, and it's sad to say because the game just came, like it didn't just come out. It's a new game. It's a newer game.
Maybe you've just outgrown the Halo series.
I don't think that's it.
You like the story of Halo, but
I like the multiplayer. I love them. Like I could play the multiplayer all day long, but like if it's that, like if they don't, like in the new Halo games, if they don't get that up to 60 frames a second, it's just not, I'll play it, whatever, but, it's just one of those things where it needs to be smooth. And, like, one thing that we discovered was it's a lot of the Forge maps that are like that.
Yeah, those are worse.
Those are, like, the ones that chug the worst. Like, I can play the Bungie made one, or not the 343 one made ones all day long. Those ones I don't have a problem with. It's the forged ones that really...
I still don't get nearly as many kills as I do in Black Ops. I don't know what the difference is, but for some reason I can get kills in Black Ops, but not in Halo.
Kills or points?
Kills.
Oh, I don't know. It might be the difference between the number of people on the squad, because I think Black Ops runs 6 or 7, and Halo 4 runs either 4
I
or
just
5.
know the last time we were playing, like, Halo, I got maybe 1 or 2 kills a game. Black Ops, I was going positive, like, 2, positive 3.
Right, with like 14
Like-
kills, 15 kills. No, I know.
I don't know what the difference is.
But I mean, it might be a different combination of like scoring and the scoring in Black Ops might be gets you like 75 kills, I'm not sure the point difference or whatever, but like 75 kills will get you a win versus
Well,
Halo,
I
which is 50.
shouldn't be going like .01 in Halo and 3 in
Right.
Call of like that's just
Right.
it doesn't make sense.
Right. It's a lot to do with the frame rate that I take issue with, and I think before it was one of those things where I could write off because it was fan favorite or whatever. But after playing so many other games and playing other things, it's
What
like
could be?
it's like man, they really need to buckle down and get knock this out of the park with the next one. But the game that I'm looking forward to is Titanfall, hands down on the Xbox One. That game is going to be sweet. Like all of the gameplay videos, it runs really smooth. It's the guys from Infinity Ward that formed Respawn, so they're on top of their game as far as they know how to make a first-person shooter. It's got the right mix of sci-fi with the mechs and a couple of the like the boost jump or whatever. They've got that, and you can run along walls like you can in Mirror's Edge. So it's got a lot of the games that I really like, and just enough of Halo, just enough of Mirror's Edge, and just enough of Call of Duty to make it a fun experience. And I've never played a mech game, but just seeing the type of mechs, they just look awesome. So yeah. The new Modern Warfare came out, Ghosts. Kind of would like to play that. I think I want to wait for the Xbox until we get an Xbox One to play that one. Just because so many people on my friends list have Xbox Ones, and I don't want to purchase it.
Which is kind of crazy because, like Ducky said, none of her friends have Xbox One.
It's literally like I generally have about anywhere between 8 to 15 people online at one time, and over half of them are playing Xbox Ones.
It's crazy.
And the thing is, you can't see what they're playing, which sucks because it's you always it's
you want to get the games they have,
right? Exactly. But there's not that many. I mean, there isn't that many games in general, and I would honestly like to play Dead Rising 3, and that game's multiplayer, or Need for Speed Rivals. That would be a good one to play, and Eli would like that one. But anyway, I mean, it's just something to look forward to. Extremely expensive right now. I think that's the kind of thing that's holding us back, is dropping the $500 on the system and then $60 on the game. You don't really need a second controller, but when you have a family of 3, the second controller is kind of necessary. I don't know. So, okay. Anyway, move right along. It's my Angel segment. What are you going to talk about there, darling?
I don't know.
There's a lot of blank space there.
Yeah, I do. We've already talked about everything I had to talk about. We talked about Catching Fire already.
What do you want to see in this? Oh, so the third book. So let's talk about the third book.
Okay. I don't want to give stuff away if there haven't been people that have not read the books but have seen the movies.
Doesn't matter. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to see the movie, don't listen to the next 30 minutes.
Do you want to know what happens?
Can you do it without spoiling, like, the ending? I mean, obviously the group is split up. There's, like,
Right. I mean, you end this movie knowing that PETA is in the Capitol. You don't know what's happening to him yet, and that Katniss is in District 13, and you know that District 12 is gone. It's the same director who's doing... They're splitting the last book into 2 movies, as, like, every...
That's kind of the thing to do
nowadays.
Nowadays.
And they're recording them both at the same time, which is good, so that you don't get, like, some kind of weird, like, aging thing between... I don't know.
Right.
At any rate, so they're in the middle of actually filming now, I think. And, I don't know, it's the same director, and I really liked how he, I really liked what he did. Like you said earlier, I didn't really notice a whole lot of differences between the book and the movie. Maybe a couple things, but very, very minor. Nothing glaringly left out.
The depiction of the playing field was amazing. Like how they orchestrated that and graphically brought that to life, as far as like the different sections of the map or whatever.
Well, and the budget for this movie, what I had read, was about double what it was for the last movie. So I mean, you can tell that in the graphics.
Right, you'd almost have to be, but I mean, like, as far as the tidal wave thing coming down,
Well,
the
and
smoke or whatever.
and the budget hopefully will be only increased for the next one. I mean, you got revolution happening, leading to war, and
I can't wait. I can't wait for them to depict District 13 and District 12. Like, I really want to see what it.
well,
looks
District
like.
13 is all underground. 75 years ago was when the first rebellion happened, and they wiped 13 off the map, essentially. None of the other districts even think that it exists anymore, but it does, basically in underground caverns. So, yeah, hopefully they do a good job with how that looks. Kind of hopefully what I think in my head is, accurate. I don't know. Looking forward to it. It'll be a while. I don't know when the release date is for that yet. Probably not till 2015, I wouldn't think, since they're still working on
Wrapping up
recording.
3 or 2. Cool. Good segment.
So, well, it's already 11 o'clock and I'm freezing down here. I don't know if I can turn on the heater or not. Will it make too much noise?
You turn it on. Turn it on. See what happens.
I don't want it to make too much noise.
It's okay. It shouldn't be too bad. Just turn it on low or whatever. I can't hear anything. There you go. Awesome. See, it's not that bad. All right, so we can podcast for another hour. We're good.
No, I'll be asleep. Sorry, I get too loud.
You might want to turn that down just a little bit.
Turn what down?
Turn the volume down on that thing.
No, because
I literally just said the volume. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Don't worry about it.
you can't. I mean, it. No, yeah. The fan speed on it is how hot the coils are.
You mean you can't change the volume? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I can't change the volume on my.
Okay, so let's
heater.
talk. I want to talk about the Kinect.
The new Kinect or the old Kinect?
A combination of both. So one of the biggest things that people have been before the 360, like when the 360 or the Xbox One was announced or whatever, the price tag was announced, everyone pretty much jumped the gun and said, the reason why it's $100 more than the PS4 is because of Kinect. The reason why you can't give us the same quality of internal parts is because of Kinect, and you're charging us more for subpar parts or whatever. And while I agree that that's probably the case, the cost to manufacture the Kinect and put it in everything is probably about $100 when all is said and done. So of course they've got to make good on what they put into the thing, so they get the money back or whatever. They can't sell it for a loss right out of the gate. But one thing that, and everyone says, haven't they learned, the first Kinect did horrible, the games were terrible, it's just shovelware, it was garbage. No game really took advantage of it, as a secondary type of thing, and, I agree, 100% agree. The downfall of this new Kinect is the price increase, first of all. But the one thing is that the first Kinect, I believe, was a beta test to see what is possible on the current system, and it was so late into the 360 that they really were just testing the water. I feel that they were testing the waters to see who would buy into it. So not every system had it, so you couldn't tell a developer. So developers didn't know how many. Well, they knew how many were out there, but they didn't know who had them, and whatever the case may be. And the launch presence for the new Kinect is kind of another glaring downfall that I see with the new system, is the fact that there's not many. There's 1 or 2 games that support it, full function, like the dance. I got the list up here. There's the Dance 2014. I think, what was the other one? Zumba, and then Fighter Within. There's a couple other ones.
There's one that Ducky was playing.
That's Rise.
Right,
She
yeah.
was talking about Rise. Now that's not, that's Kinect enabled, so you don't have to have it connected.
Apparently she was shouting commands at her forces.
Right. So that's cool. The fact that that's fine with me. I don't have to do it, but if it works, great. That's fun. I can control my guy while doing another thing or whatever, multitasking while playing or whatever. That's that's great, because that's something that the original Kinect did not do. There were very few games that allows you to do that and do it well. So, the voice control, the good part of the new Connect is the voice control, for, your TV and, outside of the gaming. Like, it seems like they've got that one pretty much down pat.
There's a downside to that, though.
So, well, right. The kid comes in and says Xbox off and turns your shit off. That's not cool.
Well, and like Ducky and Ruben saying that they had to say the X word.
Right.
They couldn't say Xbox because it would cause something to happen on the screen.
Right. You can't say Xbox because it would say, "Oh, what would you like?" or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously the upgraded software inside hardware and software inside of the system is much more up to date versus the old one. They built a system around this as a controller, and they've included it at launch. So, Microsoft can,
They go a little more hand in hand.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, everyone, from what I read online is, I don't want this, I don't need this. And the fact that you don't want it or that you don't need it doesn't matter. The fact is that you have it. And now Microsoft can guarantee the developers that every Xbox One that comes out has a Kinect with it. So you will have more third-party and first-party support for this system. So the things that developers were planning on doing with the original Kinect, and like, you know what, let's cut back on this. We don't really need it because we don't know how many people actually have it, so we can't make it a cornerstone of our game because not everybody has it. Now, now that everyone has it, they can start putting more resources into it and making it an actual.
Yeah, they're not limiting their audience by putting it.
Exactly. So, the people that are griping like, "Oh, I don't need this. I don't want it. I don't, have no use for it." That's all well and good, but it doesn't hurt. It hurts development because knowing that you have it means that they'll develop for it. So it's only going to take that one killer app, to launch and set this thing on fire.
Do you think people would not want to develop for it and so go with developing a PlayStation only title because they don't want to mess with Kinect?
Well, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, as far
I know
as,
they don't have to make it enabled or whatever, but do you think that could
distract them from or deter them from developing a third-party game, like a
for the
PlayStation?
Xbox, making it a PlayStation exclusive?
Possibly, but the thing is, you have to work. You have to think about this. You have to.
I mean, they already have to adjust their game anyhow to port it over to a different system, correct?
Right, exactly. And then the other thing is not every PlayStation has a microphone. They have the microphone. Well, I guess they do have a microphone because the controller actually has one, which is awesome. So I mean, the voice control and stuff like that works with the PlayStation just fine. So that's great. But like as far as like motion stuff like that, you have to have the new PlayStation Eye or whatever, which is sold separately. So again, they're in the same situation the Xbox 360 was, and the PlayStation 3 for that matter. You had to have the old school PlayStation Eye. So they really didn't take a step forward. Whereas Microsoft, this is a pretty, it's another, much like including not high definition, including broadband on their original Xbox, and much like Xbox Live, taking those steps forward, was before its time. Is well thought out. 5-6 years later. However, I don't think it's going to take that long for Kinect to catch on this time around.
I think the price point still. I mean, even though it's only $100 difference, it still looks. For that $100, I could get
PlayStation
and a game.
Right.
So.
No, I understand.
It's tough.
The end result is the promise. What is to come. With so few games Kinect enabled for the Xbox One, it does kind of sets up that same like sour taste
Same
in your
tone,
mouth.
yeah.
Like the original one. But the one thing that, and I was listening to Weekend Confirmed, which is a great podcast from ShackNews.com, and one of their hosts was talking about the this Xbox Fitness, and there's a whole. If you're an Xbox Live Gold member, you can download one of these videos free of charge, and it's yours to keep forever. And then if you like it, you can download multiple other ones, but they're like Insanity and P90X and stuff like that. And it actually integrates the video that you would buy on from TV with the Kinect. So like it grades you on how you're doing, you know, the different workouts and stuff like that, and it gives you, you know, ratings on that, on different, you know, different qualifiers.
Right.
So, you know, that's cool right out of the gate. So as soon as I come home with my Xbox One, I have a Kinect. If you have Gold, which if you don't, at this point, you know, I don't know what you're waiting for. You know, Amazon's got one going, a sale going on right now. You can get a 12-month thing for like $25 or something like that. So it's like half off or something. I don't know. But you have this, you know, and it's not just like Insanity and stuff like that. There's other workout programs and stuff like that. But that was just one of the big ones that I had caught my attention. But at the end of the day, you have stuff to do, you know, with your system when you come home. It's not just gaming. And I think what they've done is a great job positioning their box as a all-in-one. You know, this just doesn't do gaming. It does this, this, and this. You know, as far as keeping, you know, your cable box, you know, is integrated with it. You know, you don't have.
But you still have to have your cable box.
You do, but you can use your voice to work through the Xbox One to select channels, play video, you know, watch TV or whatever. So it's got its own guide and stuff like that, so you don't actually have to switch inputs.
What about your DVR?
Your DVR, you still have to go through your cable box for, because it's
Which is predominantly what we use.
right. So live TV is going to be your main thing. Like you're gonna be able to watch live TV on it. So, you know, and that's something that they could eventually work into the system.
That would be hard because the DVR is part of the menu of your cable box.
Right.
And they would have to essentially kind of have formats for know every single cable and satellite box out there, I would think.
Right. So I mean, it's possible to get to that part, but right now having the functionality that it has at launch is, you know, that's a good step forward. It's something that the competitor doesn't have. So I mean, overall, the new Kinect, while it's going to cost me an extra $100 to buy this stupid system, is it a good thing for for Microsoft to go this route? I would say yes. I would say, you know, did they learn from their mistake as far as the original Kinect, and, you know, well, you know, could they have abandoned Kinect altogether? Absolutely, they could have. They could have just put a microphone on the system, and you'd have your voice command, like a built-in microphone, either in your controller or in the actual system itself, and that could be, you know, voice commands and stuff like that. They could, but they continued. You know, they decided we're going to push forward with this idea. We're going to pull back on the pull back on a little bit and do revision after revision after revision and come out with, you know, something great. So, you know, the hardware they've got is outstanding. You know, you can change the world through the power of software is kind of what Microsoft's thing is. So, you know, they're gonna, you know, they'll make revisions and it'll get better over time. So I think it's a bold step, and it's great that they're continuing supporting it, and it's not just kind of getting left behind, kind of like, you know, what's that one thing called? Oh yeah, Zune. Yeah, that kind of got left in the dust. So I don't know. That's you know, my feeling on the new Kinect, and, you know, kind of sucks that it's, you know, getting ragged on for the price point, but at the end of the day, I'm happy that it's going to give me more out of my system. So
Hopefully you'll use it more than we've used our current Kinect.
You know, probably. I'm actually kind of excited to do the Snap feature. That kind of has like that has me excited out of everything. You know, the voice commands is something that is nice. You know, being able to come downstairs, Xbox on, and it turns on my receiver, it turns on my TV, and it turns on the Xbox, and it's all ready to go. I mean, you could come down and say Xbox on, watch Walking Dead, and it'll turn the Xbox on, the TV on, the surround sound on, and it'll switch the channel to.
Hopefully it will do that.
It does. It works fine. That's one thing that
Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it,
Okay.
but I have seen videos of it being demonstrated of how to do it. The caveat to that is that you have to use the Xbox language, so you can't say Xbox switch to or go to TV. You have to say Xbox go to TV and then you say Xbox Watch Walking Dead, and then it'll, it's two different commands. You can't, you know, that's that's the other thing that I'm hoping will be introduced going forward is personalized commands. Because it's talking to a machine is weird enough, but if you have your own language for it, saying
Well, yeah, but you really want to sit there and go, hey, you want to watch Walking Dead? And it's like, oh, okay, I'll switch to Walking Dead. Like,
right. Well, no, I understand that, but there's got to be a catch, something that the Xbox listens
so you don't
for.
sound so mechanical.
Right, exactly. So instead of saying Xbox, give your Xbox a name or something like that. So like, Sheila, switch to TV. Sheila, watch Walking Dead or go to Walking Dead or whatever. Something out of the ordinary. That way, you're not naming a specific.
More like Siri.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't have to, I mean,
Or that's the other thing too. Give me the option to turn on the microphone with with a button on my Connect or on my Connect on
that
my
wouldn't
controller.
be bad.
That wouldn't be too bad. Press the.
You still have to have a controller in your
Still have to have a
hand.
controller in your hand, and that's the thing. You can, and that's an option. That's what I'm saying. Give me the option to do that, or just do the always listening.
Right, like
thing.
have on the menu screen always listening or listen with button
Right,
push or whatever.
listen with toggle or something like that. And that way, if you have have a party or whatever, you can do the toggle thing with the controller because someone's always gonna have that in their hand, and you don't have to worry about every 30 seconds someone's saying Xbox.
Hey, you want to play the Xbox? And
Hey,
then
you got
turning
the
on.
Xbox One, and bloop,
Yeah.
oh, you just froze my yeah, right. Especially when you're playing multiplayer games when you can't pause the game and your system just went to a different screen and everybody's shooting you.
Yeah, I could see, sitting here with like, sitting around with your family on Christmas or on New Year's or whatever, and you've got a bunch of people over and someone's playing a game and everyone's like, "Oh, what are you playing? Oh, that's the new Xbox game, da 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 da," or "We got this Xbox," or "I got my Xbox," or "Did you get the Xbox?" And like it just keeps popping up and going
right,
crazy and
exactly. The
I
one
don't
thing
know.
that is nice is I saw this while I was watching a couple videos, and is you can have it stop listening. Like you can say Xbox stop listening, and
Oh,
it'll stop.
that helps.
So, granted, it only does that until the next person says Xbox, but
Oh, yeah.
it stops. So you're not so you don't say Rise and it switches to Rise. Granted, you have to say go to Rise or whatever, or play Rise or whatever the command is.
Right.
So, coming up with personalized commands is something that I'm hoping that gets introduced. Right now, they kind of are pigeonholed themselves to what they created, which is fine. I mean, that's creating a standard, and maybe over time that just becomes what everyone because
Everyone walks around saying,
well, no, I mean like when you have an Xbox in front of you and it's on, like then you just kind of switch. Think of it like with the Xbox's controller. It was unheard of to have the left thumbstick forward, and when you look at it, you're like, that looks horrible. Why would you? That does not look comfortable, and it's not. There's no symmetry or anything like that. So your first instinct is to grab the controller and put your right hand on the thumbstick and the left hand on the D-pad, and that just doesn't feel right. Over time it just comes natural. So
"Yeah, I hated the Xbox with the white and black buttons." Oh.
yeah, that was a horrible idea. That was a horrible idea,
Yeah.
especially where they were placed too, because they were
You
like
had to because you had to be using the push to, I think, to get spin or something on Hot Shots Golf, I think, or Tiger Woods Golf. So like I would have to like pull back and then you take this hand off this D-pad to come over here and push this as fast as I could because I had to use my pointer finger, but I had to use this. Yeah, it was bad.
it was bad placement, but yeah, they
Anyway.
switched those to the bumpers, so now the bumpers are that's a much more and
Yeah.
I can't wait to get my hands on the controller. Like the triggers have their own feedback in them now, so they got their own rumbles in the actual triggers. That's awesome. I'm excited to play with those. So, you know, all in all, pretty excited. So, all right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up. We'll put this show up here in a couple hours. Other than that, well, I mean, it'll be up in a couple hours.
I was gonna say it's already 11:30. You got to work in the morning.
Well, no, I'll start the process now, and
Okay.
it'll be up in a couple hours. So,
All right.
Thanks for watching. We'll be hopefully recording every Wednesday. Good Lord, every Monday. Hopefully about 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock range. At ustream.tv/channel/BC podcast. You can check out our old episodes. Ball and Chain Podcast, all one word. .podbean.com. Yeah. Anything else you want to plug before we head out?
Can't think of anything.
All right. Well, it was fun. Get back into the swing of things. We'll have like the camera and everything set up properly. The headphones will work. I don't know why they're not working. They're just buzzing in my ear. So
why are you continuing to wear?
I don't know. So, and it's a real faint buzz. It's like zzz, and I'm like, oh. So I don't know. Anyway, so we'll get back to it. Next week's episode will be much more choreographed and much more professionally done, hopefully. But hey, this time we had actual outline. That's something we haven't done in a hot second. Outline. Woo.
Yay.
Had to have some organization here. I knew
Even if my portion's blank.
Well, yeah, your portion is blank, but
hey, we still talked for an hour.
We did, but what I was thinking was, I can't control what happens on the screens and what happens technologically, but I can control what the hell I say, so I'm going to write it down. So, anyway, don't expect that next week. So we'll be back next week. Other than that, I'm going to go play some Beyond Two Souls.
I'm going to sleep.
I thought you said you wanted to watch me play Beyond Two Souls.
Well, I'll probably start out that way. It won't end up that way.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
See ya.